Okay, so I figured it would be helpful to show you how to make a a sermon playlist or presentation for your live speaker. So in the templates that I gave you, there's just this canceling Cupid one in here from a previous week. But we're going to create a new presentation, and we're going to call it This is Jesus, which is the name of the series. And I'm going to go ahead and call this one Part 1 in case we have multiple parts. We used to just take the sermon and reuse the sermon and template and drop in new graphics, but I found that there's moments where pastors are like, hey, I'm going to preach that same sermon that I did from a couple weeks ago, or I'm going to take these slides and reuse them, or somebody asked for these slides, can you export them, whatever it may be. And because of that, if we're deleting everything week to week, then it's gone and we can't use it again. So this way, if a pastor's like, hey, I want my This is Jesus Part 1 that I preached on March 30th, and you can be like, I've got that. So that's why we're going to be making new ones each week. So we're going to add this to Sunday 3:30 and new. Okay, we'll drag this up here and delete our canceling Cupid. Then we're going to get our This is Jesus sermon graphics. So we're in Dropbox. I'm doing this on the Lake Norman computer, by the way, so Nate, you already have a template when you go to do them this week. So we go to campus content, graphics and videos, sermon art, and then This is Jesus. And because these are all not downloaded yet, I'm going to download the title slide, right click, make available offline, and the notes slide, right click, make available offline. Alright, and we're going to drag the title in. Oops. Grab the title. There it is. And we'll grab the note slide. Drag that in. We want to make sure that these are set to backgrounds. So, edit action, behavior, background. And now that they're both set as backgrounds, then we're going to make sure they have dissolves on them. So inspector, and then this third tab and dissolve, and inspector, third tab, and dissolve. Okay, so they both have dissolves on them. Next thing, I'm going to put an extra one of these at the end because we like to go back to the title slide when we're not on a scripture or whatever. And then I'm going to add a timer and a stage display to this slide right here. So add action, stage, and we're going to set it to be the timer. That tells the stage display over here that it's going to have a timer on it. The next piece, right now, if I click that, you see it just takes whatever timer was running last. So that's probably the timer from this past Sunday, which is why it's got negative 2,900 minutes on it. So I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to add action timer. And our timer for our sermons are 35 minutes. And I always add the little 01 on there. So now if I click this, it'll be 35. Perfect. Okay, now I need a blank slide for actually putting my notes in. So screens, I'm going to right click on this slide, presentation, new slide. It's going to give me a blank slide after this note slide here. And I'm going to go to the main output so you guys can see what this looks like. So here's our title slide, here's our note slide. And now this blank slide, whatever I put on it, will be laid on top of this. So I'm going to right click and edit this slide. And the first thing I'm going to do is add a text box. And each time these slides will be slightly different because the notes graphics always kind of change a little bit. So like, let me go out for a second. You'll see this note slide, we kind of have this space in the middle to put our graphics. But if you go back to Canceling Cupid, or here's Fullscreen, that we had kind of like this center space. Here's Canceling Cupid, where we had, they were kind of up top on the notes here, and we had this little button on the bottom. So it just changes every time, which is why we don't have like a standard set size to it. In Lake Norman, just a little side note, Lake Norman also needs an audience look on theirs. You may need an audience look on yours. The audience look just tells the screen to put it back to normal, so default. So right now Lake Norman has a macro that tells their lyrics to go to the top of the screen, right? So they're in the center here, but they go to the top of the screen over here. So if I go onto a note slide where I need to, you know, have a note, it'll push the note up to the top. And so that's why we do on this one, we just have this audience look, and then that way it keeps the text from going up to the top. So then we're going to add a point here. So we're going to use Gotham. And since this is going to be a point, we want it to be bold, and I'm going to make the text size, I don't know, like maybe 90. That might be a little big, but we'll try that. We're also going to make the text black because our graphic itself is pretty light, and this will be 0.1. And so let me show you what that looks like here. 0.1. Pretty simple. Now we'll go ahead and duplicate this, and we're going to copy, and we're going to paste, and we're going to edit this second slide, and this time we're going to do a verse. So we're not going to be bold, we're going to be book, and probably like 70 to 75 is probably a good range. And I'll do I don't know, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son. Oh, I'm not even typing, look at that. Here, I'll just do, there we go. Here's our scripture, blah, blah, blah. Okay, scriptures, we like them to be left aligned. Up to you if you want to keep it centered, or if you want to, if you want to keep it centered, or if you want to send it to the top of the text box. You'll add a second text box for your reference so that the reference stays in the same spot all the time. It'll go down at the bottom here. This will be Gotham. It will be bold, and it will be all caps. And you'll put John 3:16, and we're gonna make this black. Oops. We're gonna make it black. And the text size, this is a little smaller usually, so I'd say maybe like 60 is probably a good font size. And then let's see how that looks. Perfect. All right, so now you have a template for you to add your points to. You can just duplicate these slides and reuse them. Sometimes you might want to throw in a additional title slide in different spots. Just make sure that when you go back to notes that they don't click onto a note slide, like the text of the note slide, without going to the notes background first. I hope that makes sense. All right, hope that's helpful.